Hello, Jordan. Welcome.
Hello there.
So today, everyone, on the Free American Press, we have Jordan Maxwell. And Jordan Maxwell is a preeminent American researcher and independent scholar in the field of the occult and religious philosophy for over 50 years, at the great expense of his personal life. He has conducted dozens of intensive seminars, hosted his own radio shows, guested on more than 600 radio shows, and appeared in numerous television shows and documentaries. His work on the subject of secret societies, both ancient and modern, and their symbols has fascinated audiences from around the world for decades. So thank you for being on the Free American Press.
Thank you for inviting me. Happy to be here.
Sounds good. So my first question for you, Jordan, is what is your philosophy on life?
On life?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Life is a sexually transmitted disease with a fatal prognosis. I don't know what to say about my life. I don't know what to say about life because I'm not really sure what it is.
Yeah.
Because so much does not make sense in human life. Nothing seems to make sense. And the older you get, the deeper you start thinking about things, the more it becomes obvious there doesn't seem to be an answer to why things happen the way they do. So it's very difficult to know why we lived like we do as humans, because we're not being told anything, we're not being given knowledge about anything. Therefore, your decisions are only as good as your information. And if you don't have any information, your decisions are just shooting in the dark. Most people have no idea in the world what they're doing and what they believe and where they came from. And therefore, they can't make any intelligent decisions. And that's the problem. And so I don't know what to say about life we live. All I know is I've been looking at the dark side of life for 60 years. I'm
Yeah.
looking at religion, the occult world, the hidden world of finance, banking, government, God, and all the rest of it. And it's an incredible world we live in. So who knows what life is all about? I don't know.
Well, that's a good philosophy.
The best I could come up with at 80 years old.
Yeah. So I have another question then. So is there a benevolent God and creator of the universe? And and is there a devil as well? Basically, good versus evil. What do you think of that?
I I question that whole idea of a benevolent God. I question it because uh, the universe is too big for one God, and one God is too big for all religions. And so the idea of the one God seems to me to be a very, very difficult idea, because when you understand, and most people don't, when you understand how big the universe that we live in is,
Yeah.
you know, then and how big this universe is and how large it is, who has the power to create something this big? And so, but on the other hand, there seems to be, in point of fact, some kind of an intelligence behind life itself, some sort of highly intelligent life in the universe that seems to be in control. And I am totally sure, because I've seen too much, that there is something going on the earth between we humans and the spirit world out there.
Yeah.
There is a spirit world out there. And I know that we connect to it as humans somehow. I just don't know how it works. I just know it works. And so I've learned to work with it. I can't explain it because I don't understand it. But I do know that there is something going on between people and between us humans. I mean, with you and I, some kind of a connection between us, some kind of connection between you and your brothers and your mom and your family. And there's connections to all life. I mean, you can connect to your puppy, to your dog. There's all sorts of spiritual connections that we have with life in the universe. And I think the smartest idea is written in Genesis, in the Bible, in the book of Genesis 1, the first chapter. I think the whole answer to what's really going on is in the Bible, is in the first chapter of Genesis. But what's actually written there in Genesis is not understood by people. Nobody seems to get the original understanding of what Genesis is actually saying. You have to look at it for a long, long time and study it. And then it becomes apparent to you what's being said. And what Genesis 1, the first chapter of Genesis, is saying is so strange and so off the wall that most people would never even begin to believe it. They wouldn't be able to understand it. But it's so very obvious if you look at what the words mean and get the correct interpretation. So I think there's something going on that we could talk about. We could talk about this kind of thing, what's written in the scriptures or what's written in the ancient world, and what the ancient people of this world knew and what we don't know. Because obviously on this earth there have been some extraordinary things going on that we have never been told.
Yeah, definitely. I just think it's amazing how many things are out in the universe. And
That's right.
really the powers against each other, good versus evil, it's pretty amazing what's been going on, as you've said. So I have another question for you. So what do you think of everything that's going on in California, with the power outages, among other
Yeah.
things, with the status of the state?
I think California is under attack by higher technology. There are high technologies going on in California to burn California down, to shut it down. Why? So the people will leave. They want somebody wants the people of California to move out. There's too many people, too big of a too big of a population, too many people to feed. My God, you got millions, like 40 million people who want to eat for 3 times a day, 24 hours a day, every day. And you need to get rid of these people because there's just too many of them. The traffic is too bad. The living costs are too bad. So I think somebody wants people in California to move so they can buy up the property for nickels on a dollar.
Yeah, so kind of like how the Rothschilds bought, the
That's exactly right. How the Rothschilds bought the Bank of England. Yeah.
pretty evil plan, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a pretty tragic because what they're doing is hurting people.
Yeah,
When people have to leave their homes, they have no place to go and no money and no place to go. It's pretty tragic what happens to the human race and what's happening to people, and especially in America. I mean, I see all the problems the earth has. I've been looking at them for many years. I know the problems we on the earth have. I think that we are under attack on the earth by spiritual presence. Some kind of a spiritual presence is on the earth that wants us dead, wants to attack us, and wants to destroy our lives on the earth.
yeah. So
Yeah, it's a horrible story.
yeah, I have to agree. So one of my other questions is there were some people talking about this new project called the Venus Project, and it's basically they're talking against the monetary system and how we could have everything done by machines so we could think and be more creative. And
That
they,
Venus Project,
yeah,
that particular project called the Venus Project, is part of something I started years ago. Something I did years ago became known today as the Venus Project. I didn't do the Venus Project. I didn't start it, but it came from something I did a long time ago. I've been doing my work and putting it out, and some guy in New York named Peter Joseph. Peter Joseph is a producer of television in New York, and he took all of my work and created a television show for 2 hours based on my work, and it was called what was it called? Zeitgeist. Zeitgeist. Did you ever see the 2 hour show on video called Zeitgeist?
no, I haven't.
Okay, look on the web. Go on the web to the video. What do you call it? What's the video on the web when you want to watch a video? What do you call that?
Or,
YouTube.
yeah,
YouTube. That's where you go to watch a video. YouTube. Remember that.
right.
YouTube. Go on YouTube and type in Zeitgeist. 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 It's
Okay.
a German word. It's a German word. Zeitgeist means the the ideas of the time you're living in, the flow of ideas in the time in which you're living. Because the flow of ideas in the time in your world that you're living in and I'm living in is not what the people 1,000 years were thinking. 1,000 years ago, they weren't thinking like us. They didn't have the cars and trains and planes and all the other stuff we have. So their thoughts were different. They were thinking about other things. And then the people 10,000 years ago were not thinking about what the people 1,000 years ago were thinking. So today we are thinking our thoughts that we understand about the world we live in. And in German, the word is Zeitgeist, the feeling of the thoughts of the time in which you're living. And so this producer named Peter Joseph took all of the stuff I've been talking about for years, and happily he put it into a television series, into a video series, and put it out on the web. And it became one of the biggest hits out in the world today. It had like over 100 million people downloaded it to watch it. It was enormous when it first came out years ago, called Zeitgeist. Now, out of that zeitgeist, it became so big around the world, so many young people, your age, so many young people were watching it and loved it, loved what I was doing, and liked what I was talking about, and they saw the importance of it. So the young people started collecting around the world, collecting groups to follow my work, and it became known as the Zeitgeist political movement. And they were having large political movements around the world in all kinds of countries of young people getting together and watching my videos and watching what I was doing. And from that, the producer began to see this is big. A lot of people are watching it. It's in the hundreds of millions of people who are watching this. So he started a different television show to add to the zeitgeist and to provide more information for young people. But he did it, not me. And he called it what you said. What was the word you called?
The Venus Project.
Yeah, the Venus Project. He called it the Venus Project. And he emailed me and said, Jordan, I've started a new a new video series called The Venus Project, based on your work. What you did started it. Now I'm putting something out there called The Venus Project. So when you talk about the Venus Project, that's something that came from my work originally a long time ago called Zeitgeist.
Yeah.
And it was very, very big. Zeitgeist was very big a long time ago, quite a few years ago, back in the mid 2000s or early 2000. It was very, very big. And so today, the Venus Project, I don't even know what's in the Venus Project, and I don't even care. I was just impressed that people, young people all over the world, thought my work was so important that they started creating political movements in colleges and universities and schools and high schools. There was all kinds of young people following Jordan Maxwell's on the zeitgeist. So I don't know. I don't know what's happening with it right now, but it was very big at one time.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So, could you tell us about the coat of arms of Russia and what it is telling us?
Yeah, I know. That's a heck of a story, boy. The coat of arms of the Soviet Union. You have to see it in a. You have to go on the web and type it in. Coat of arms, Soviet Union, and it's the official insignia for the country. We have in America an official insignia for our country. It's on the back of the $1 bill.
Right.
It's on the right side of the back of the $1 bill. You will see an eagle with the spread wings and the Star of David above the eagle, above his head. That's called the insignia of the United States. It's the official insignia of the United States of America. And so every country has its own coat of arms or its own insignia. So if you go, I don't even know if you can find it on the web. If you go to, what is it, image, you type in image first, you go to whatever your carrier is, if it's Google or whatever, and type in image. So this way you only see pictures. And then type in coat of arms, Soviet Union, and see what comes up. I have never done that before. I know what it is. I've never looked at it on the web before.
So what is it telling us?
It's telling you that the whole entire world on the earth today is going to be taken over and forced into a world communist concentration camp.
Yeah.
It's telling you that the whole world is ultimately going to be forced into accepting world communism. No longer any human freedom, no longer any human passion, no human feeling. That's it. That's the
Uh,
national coat of arms right there. There it is. But you'll see the sun coming up from the bottom.
yep.
That sun is called the dawn of the new day.
Dawn of the
The
new.
sun coming up is referred to in the reference books as the sun coming up. It's rising on the earth and causing a whole new world. Tomorrow morning, when the sun comes up, it's going to be a whole new world. Nothing is going to be the same anymore. It's all going to be changed. And so that's what that symbol is saying. The sun is going to rise tomorrow on a new world order in
Yeah.
which nothing is going to be the same again. No longer will there ever be what you feel the world is today. That's going to be gone forever. So where young people are concerned about their older people and their parents, no, that's going to be gone. We don't care about their parents. We don't give a damn about old people. Get rid of them. Let them die. And so when we're concerned about how we're going to pay our bills, we don't have to worry about how I pay our bills. We'll just do what we're going to do. And so that whole concept of an idea about no longer having any respect for people, no respect for laws, no respect for tomorrow, no respect for God, no respect for anything. Just do whatever you want to do and don't care about the law. There is no law. That's what communism is going to bring to the world, and that's why you see today so much crime.
Yeah.
So much crime today because criminals don't care what the law says. They don't care who they hurt. That's communism. That's Soviet Marxist Leninist communism. To only care about yourself, what you want. That's it. No, it doesn't matter what the city you live in wants, what the people want. It doesn't matter. It's what you want. And you go out and get whatever you want and do whatever you have to do to get it. You have to kill somebody to take what they own, do it. Get what you want. That's Soviet communism, and that's what the world is now really like.
Yeah.
Because that symbol on the Soviet coat of arms is saying the sun is rising on a new time, a new dispensation, a new way to live. No longer are we going to be human and where we care about people and obey the law and care about feeding the poor and taking care of people. We don't care about none of that anymore. We're going to do whatever it is we want to do anytime we want to do it. If we don't like the president, we'll kill him. That's what the Democratic Party is talking about, killing the president. So you need to understand all communist countries are referred to as democratic republics, democratic societies. So when you hear about the word democratic, it means Soviet communism, democratic. And so when you see a riot going on out in the street when all the young people are drunk and they're turning over cars and breaking windows and killing each other and big riots,
Yeah.
we call that a demonstration. It's a demonstration
Right.
coming from the word demo, which means in Greek a mob. A mob is called a demo. And so it's a demonstration. It's the people acting up. And the people are acting up, so it's called a demonstration, coming from the word democratic. And so therefore in America we have a democratic government. We have a democratic party in America. Democratic means Soviet communism. We do what we want and we don't give a damn about laws. We
Yeah.
don't care about religion. We don't care about decency and honor. If we want to be gay, we'll be gay. If we want to kill you, we'll kill you. We want to jump out of a plane, we'll do that too. We'll do whatever we want to do. There is no law. I am the law. I'll carry my own ideas. I'll do my own thing. I don't give a damn what you think. Well, that's the kind of lawlessness we're now in because the government has become like that. The government doesn't care what the law is. They
Yeah.
just do whatever they want to do.
Definitely. So this brings me to my next question. So how long do we have till something like a next world war occurs?
I think within the next 3 years, just my opinion, I don't know. My opinion is within the next 2.5 to 3 years, we're going to see some horrible, terrible tragedy come upon the world. I think the time to look for it to begin is going to be at the end of next year, not the end of this year. The end of next year is going to be a time of great, terrible trouble coming on the earth. We're going to see some very serious bad things happening in America and around the world, but especially in America because America is like the weather balloon for the world. Whatever happens to us is going to be worse for everybody else.
Right.
If we get a cold, everybody else gets TB. They get cancer. If we got a cold, they get cancer. Why? Because we're the wealthiest and most powerful people on the earth. And if something terrible happens to us, we can handle it. But the rest of the world can't. They're not going to be able to handle what we handle.
Yeah.
And so, anytime there's a war, America gets into the war, we come into the war. When we come into a war, we kill everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So
So
who?
when America enters a war, the war is over. We'll come in and enter the war's over. We
Yeah.
come in with the Marines and with all kinds of high-tech military stuff, and people all over the world don't want to deal with America. Don't want to deal with America in a war. You don't want to do that because the U.S. is a very, very politically powerful military establishment on the earth, and China knows it. Russia knows it. You want to mess with America? Watch what was going to happen. Watch what's going to happen if you mess with this country.
So who will be the players in this great catastrophe that you're talking about? Will aliens be involved? Will it be versus the United States and China? What will
Well,
happen?
the aliens have always been involved in human affairs from day one. The extraterrestrials that from out there that a lot of people think is funny and silly, it's not funny or silly. It's very, very serious. We do have extraterrestrial life forms on this earth, and they are far, far greater and far more intelligent than we are. I mean, they found us. We didn't find them out there. In that huge universe out there, they found us. They came here to see who we are. We didn't find them. We don't know where they are, but they knew where we were, and they came down here to see us.
Yeah.
And they came down to visit us. And why did they find us on this little tiny speck we call the Earth? It's incredible how the extraterrestrials were able to find us. That is a incredible thought that scientists can't deal with today. How did the extraterrestrial life forms out in the universe find us? Because we are so darn small. We're so tiny.
Yeah. Well, they certainly wanted to, for whatever reason they had.
Yep, they came here and they're here now and they look like us. We look like them. They look like us, which tells me that we were them a long time ago. They made us to look like them a long time ago. So when they come here today, they look like us. They look like humans.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't bother you, the extraterrestrials are here, because they look like you.
Mm.
They can sit and talk with you, have lunch with you, have dinner with you, go out to a movie with you, but they're not from here. They're extraterrestrials. They just look like you, and that's fooling you. You're being deceived by who you're talking to. That's why there's an old saying: "Be careful who you talk to." The Apostle Paul in the Bible, in the Christian scriptures, the Apostle Paul said, to be always hospitable to everybody you meet. Always be kind and courteous to everyone you meet, because many have entertained angels unaware. Meaning, always be kind and courteous to people you're talking to, because you don't know who you're talking to. You may be talking to an extraterrestrial who is far, far more powerful than you are and can do terrible things to you, and you don't even know it. So just be courteous to everyone because you don't know who you're talking to.
Right. That's some pretty good wisdom, in my opinion.
That's right.
I have another question. So, what is going on at Area 51? What is the government hiding?
I am totally convinced that at Area 51, because I've been there so many times, I've not been in the base. Nobody goes in the base.
Yeah.
But there's a little town just outside of the base. And those people, a lot of the people in that little town called Rachel, they work at the Area 51. And so when they come to the restaurant, there's a little restaurant and a bar and restaurant and a little motel there and a little service station and grocery store. And that's about it. But when you talk to some of the people who work out there, And they won't tell you very much, but the little things they tell you tells me a lot. And I have already had my own personal experiences at Area 51. I know that there is extraterrestrial life forms out there. There are extraterrestrial, the government calls them EBEs. E as in Earth, B as in boy, and E as in Earth, EBE, which stands for extraterrestrial biological entities, meaning there are actual creatures here from another world. They're actually out there on that base, and we know who they are because we're keeping them out there on that base in a prison.
Yeah.
So we know who they are. We got them, and they know that they are our prisoners. And so we call them EBEs because they're extraterrestrial. They're not from here, but they look like us, but they're not from here. And so we call them extraterrestrial biological entities. And they've come here from somewhere else, and they're out there because I know they're out there because I've seen them.
Yeah.
And I've had my own experiences with them out there. So if you go out to Area 51, there's a little town called Rachel, Nevada. And Rachel is a little Mickey Mouse, little small, little town, little village just outside of the base. And so if you live in Rachel, you can see strange things at night in the sky. UFOs, aliens, all kinds of strange things pop up out there.
So definitely. So this brings me to my next question. Are these beings going to be rescued by their friends?
Well, that's an interesting idea. It's an interesting question. I don't know. I don't know if they can be. I don't know.
Yeah.
It sure seems like they're powerful enough to do whatever they want. They can come in and do whatever they please, but they somehow or another, we humans have some kind of a relationship with them where we don't mess with them and they don't mess with us because we do have atomic weapons. If they want to get chicken and want to be nasty, we've got atomic weapons we'll use. So if you want to mess with us, be very careful because we are very powerful people, humans on the earth, and we have a whole world of power around the earth that we control in America.
Yeah.
Nuclear power, space power, and space flight, underground bases,
Yeah.
communication. We got all kinds of strange stuff you don't want to mess with.
Yeah. So that. So now I want to ask you about Phil Schneider. Uh, I
Yeah,
wanted.
I think Phil Snyder was an incredibly fascinating man because I got my gut feeling is from what everything I know myself, I've seen with my own eyes. I think he was right on target. The stuff he was telling, that's why he died so quickly. He died so fast. Is because he was telling the people what was really going on in this country. And Phil Snyder, as far as I'm concerned, was absolutely fascinating. I loved listening to him because I'm
So
sure he was right.
how did Phil Schneider die?
He died, I heard, of a heart attack on the stage. He was getting ready to give a lecture and he died of a heart attack. And the kind of a heart attack he died from, I heard, was technologically possible by somebody carrying a gun, a particular kind of gun that they can aim it at you. It's an electrical gun. And when they aim it at you, they pull the trigger and that stops your heart. Your heart will stop because it's an electrical frequency. It keeps your heart going. And if we can shut that frequency down, your heart will stop. And if your heart stops, you're dead. And so I've heard that there is a particular kind of gun that the government has developed. Some of these big contractors have developed this gun that they can aim it at you and pull the trigger and you'll die instantly.
Yeah,
So
that'll
that's
be.
what happened to him.
So the government really tried to cover that up then because the official story is that he committed suicide and they found him with like some sort of rope in his bedroom.
Yeah.
So So they killed him on stage. Wow.
I heard he was killed on stage.
That's
But when you listen to him, he was telling you some really off the wall stuff, some really strange stuff he was talking about was happening on this earth, and he was there to see it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So have you ever had the chance to see an underground base or meet with somebody who has been into one of these underground bases?
Oh, I've met people who were in them. Yeah, I met people who were in them and
So
talked with them.
so what did they
They
tell you?
don't they don't tell you too much. They just tell you that there's other kinds of life forms in those underground bases. They're not all human. That's what I've heard so many times from people who are knowledgeable, who work on those bases. They say, "Look, we can't tell you anything. All we can tell you is that, yeah, we're down there working, but there's something going on under the ground that you have no idea in the world how big it is.
Yeah.
There are whole cities, enormous cities like Los Angeles, that are underground, way down underground, big, huge cities. They have buses and buildings and people going to work and getting up in the morning and going to the beach, and they're going to downtown. They're living like we are, but there's whole cities underground. And a classic example, what I'm talking about, is in Australia. In the direct middle of the continent of Australia is a place called Alice Springs. Alice Springs is a little town right in the middle of Australia. And if you go down, I don't know how many thousands of feet down you go until you finally go all the way down under Alice Springs. There's a whole city under Alice Springs that's been there for many, many years. In the United States Air Force, the U.S. military, the British and the German military are involved in a huge operation going on underground. I have heard there's a book out called Cosmic Conspiracy. You get the book called Cosmic Conspiracy, and it tells you all about the that particular base that's underground in Australia.
So are these bases, what are they? Are they bomb shelters? Are they used to house aliens also that can't live up?
No, I think that they are underground bases where no matter what happens up here on the surface, they're not bothered by it. They got their own business they're doing. They got their own stuff they're doing. It has nothing to do with us at all. They are into all kinds of stuff that they're doing with extraterrestrial life forms, communications. And from what I have heard from people on the inside, they have train tracks and tunnels underground that are enormous, that are so huge. Those tracks are so big that you could fly an airplane through those tunnels. That's how big they are. You could fly an airplane through them. And they cross over under the earth and go under the under the earth, and they, like in America, they have these enormous tracks underground under the earth that they could go thousands of miles an hour. So that they can go from Los Angeles to New York in an hour or so on rail. The rail is so fast when you get on that thing, it takes you from, say, from LA to the East Coast in about an hour. And so, if there's anything happening out here, hot tornadoes or or hurricanes or horrible bad weather, whatever, it doesn't matter. If the powers that be need to get from one side of this country to the other, they go underground, and they only go for an hour.
So
Boom, they're
so
there.
elites are the ones underground then.
Yeah.
Well, looks like they're getting ready for a out then, eventually.
Say
But
that again.
it seems that they're getting ready for a fallout, like bombs and other things eventually. That's pretty amazing though. So
Yep, I think so. Looks like it. Looks like they're getting ready for something.
So I have a question here. Do you think Donald Trump is compromised by the Illuminati?
That's hard to tell. I think he's a good guy. I like him. I don't vote for nobody. I've never voted for anybody in my whole life. No matter like fourth grade, I never voted for anything in school. I never voted for anybody ever. And I think it's because of who I am. I am not from here. I don't feel that I connect to the world I live in. So I never voted for anything. I never felt like I was a part of this community. I was part of the school. I've never felt like I was a part of anything. I'm a totally different kind of human. I read and I study and I want to know all the dark secrets of the world. And I've been doing that all my life. So I don't vote for anybody, but my gut feeling is that Donald Trump is more than you know. I think he's bigger than you know and far more important than you know. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised if there isn't something political going on the earth that's behind him. And he's in front of something very big coming. I don't know what's coming, but whatever it is, he's going to be involved in
So uh, what about Trump compromise? What about Trump being bailed out by the Rothschild in New York?
I don't think that's of any importance at all.
Okay, well that's
I think what's more important is that the German Nazi Party, the Nazi Party from old German Nazi Party, is today's the most powerful presence on the earth. Is the World Nazi Party. You have no idea in the world how wealthy they are and how powerful, politically powerful they are. What Hitler started, what we call the Nazi Party today, run the world you live in. They run your world. They run your country. They're the ones that decide what your schools will teach. It's an incredible story about how powerful Nazism is today in the world in which we live. Very few people, young people your age, even know anything about Nazi because that's a long time ago. And who they were, most people don't know today who they were and what they were doing. But they did cause a world war. The whole earth went to war over the Nazis against them. And what's crazy is that the Nazis was just a small group of men, just a small group. And when the whole world declared war on them, they didn't care. They'll take on the whole world. And they did take on the whole world. And I think they won. I don't think they ever lost. The Nazis did not lose. The German government lost, not the Nazis.
yeah.
And so today, I think there's a very powerful presence on the earth called the Nazi Party, and it is the real thinking and the real political party with the money and the technology behind the world in which you live today. That may sound stupid and crazy to most people, because most people think, "Oh, we defeated the Nazis a long time ago." That's a long time ago. They're gone. No, they're not gone.
Yeah.
They're not gone. They just quietly got out of town, and they're regrouping and they're coming back.
Yeah, definitely. So do you think like groups like Antifa are part of this?
I think that there's some very powerful political groups that are actually being financed, organized, and directed by the Nazi Party.
Yeah, they do.
Nazis are not in Europe anymore.
Yeah.
They are in Argentina.
Yeah, they escaped. Yeah.
The country of Argentina is the host for the World Nazi Party is in Argentina. That's
Yeah.
where all the officials of the government are.
So my next question is, do you believe Ronald Reagan was actually a communist or a communist sympathizer?
You know what? I've heard in Hollywood. I had a friend that was very high up in Hollywood many years ago. He was very, very important man in Hollywood. His name was known everywhere. And he told me Ronald Reagan is actually a communist. He's a Marxist-Leninist. But he knows how to talk and walk the walk and make everybody think he's an American and he loves America and all that. But he's not. He's a red. He's a communist. And
Yeah.
I remember him saying that. And I thought at the time, boy, that doesn't sound very intelligent to me, because he's always talking about America and that he's going to do this for America and he loved America. And yet this man was telling me he was a communist. So you know what? I don't really know.
Yeah.
I've heard that, but I don't know.
We do notice one thing that's kind of strange. Some of his kids are really flaming liberals, communist type. So
I know.
does leave a question unanswered. So do you think Reagan was really the person who caused the fall of the Soviet Union, or do you think it was some other factor or a planned factor?
They were merely him and Gorbachev were merely. I think Bush's was the Bush old man Bush was in on that thing too when the Soviet Union fell. But I think the Americans and the Soviet and the communist powers that worked to overthrow the Russian government, and when communism fell, the real powers of this world, you will never know who they are. That's what I was told. I've been told that the real people who run this planet, you will never know who they are. You will never hear their names and you will never see them, because they don't need for you to see them. They run the planet. They own the planet.
Yeah, they just run it underground, like you were saying.
That's right. It's called organized crime.
They're just using figureheads to
That's
control the
exactly right.
population. Yeah,
The same thing we do in business. We have a president. We have a president of the company. So when you want to go to the top of the company, you go to the president. He's not the power of the company.
got
He's
it.
the president of the company. It's the guys who own the corporation. They own it. It's their money. And they have put that company together and they own it. And then they select you to be the president. So that any problems come up, they'll blame you and they can fire you and shoot you and do whatever because you're the problem. No, no, they're the problem. They own the corporation, but
Yeah,
they put you in there and pay you a large salary so that people can see you as the problem. You're the problem. This way, they're not a problem because nobody even knows they exist, but they own the corporation. And that's why if you're a president, you don't have any real power. They just put you in there to take all the heat. If people don't like what the company's doing, they'll badmouth you because you're the president. They don't know you got nothing to say about nothing. The bosses who live in the West Indies and the islands of the Caribbean with their billion-dollar mansions, they own the corporation.
yeah,
They are the problem.
I agree. So, could you tell us about Zachariah Sitchin and maybe some things people don't know about him?
Yeah, I was his business partner. I was a business partner with Zachariah Sitchin. I actually paid him a fairly good size of money one time in San Diego. I called Zachariah Sitchin in New York, and I had been working with him, promoting him in San Diego and promoting his books and promoting his lectures, etc. But I called him for the first time to talk with him directly. And I said, Zachariah, I'd like for you to come to San Diego and bring your wife, and I'll pay for everything. I'll pay all the expenses, and you come here. I want to talk with you about a business plan. And he said, okay. So he came to San Diego, him and his wife, and I picked him up at the airport and took him to the hotel. And then a couple of nights later, we went out for dinner, to a big dinner. And there's about 10 people there at the dinner. People that work for me and my company, people working with the company, and the attorneys for the corporation, and a lot of other people were there. And Zachariah and his wife were there. And after dinner, Zachariah Sitchin said to me, "Okay, so what's the plan? Why am I here? Well, you said you had some business. Okay, tell me what's going on." And I said, "Well, Zachariah, I would like for you to be a business partner. I'd like to be your business partner. I'd like to finance your books and your tours and just work with you." And he said, "Okay, so what do you have in mind?" And I said, "Well, I'd like to send you to 7 countries. I'd like to give you the opportunity to go to 7 different countries on the earth and film. I'll send a filming crew with you and to film you talking about your work. And you can pick the 7 countries you want to go to. And we'll send you there, put you in a hotel, take care of you and your wife, and we'll videotape you, and you can have a whole series of 13 1 hour series that we will produce, of which I will own, but you will be paid for it. And you will get and if we sell any of it to universities or sell it to the public broadcasting in Washington, D.C., public TV, we will pay you and you'll get paid, but you'll be also being paid to travel around the world and videotape your work for you. And so he agreed. He said, "Okay, we can do that." So I did. I sent him to 5 countries. But the old lady who was the head of the company I was running, there was a woman above me, and she was mentally retarded. She was a total mental retard. She was crazy, and everybody knew it except me. I didn't realize it. And so she decided she didn't want to finance Zachariah Sitchin any longer. So one day she told me, "I don't want to do this Zachariah Sitchin thing anymore. Get rid of him." And I said, "You can't get rid of him. We have contracts with him. If we get rid of him, you're going to have to face him in court. It's going to cost a lot of money to fight him in court because we got signed contracts with him." She said, "I don't care. Get rid of him." So I called Zachariah Sitchin in New York and told him the money has been shut off. The company is no longer going to finance my project with you. He said, "Well, it's okay. I don't care because I've been to 5 countries already. I only had 2 more to go to. I've been to 5 countries. I've photocopied everything. I videotaped everything. It's all mine. It's all my stuff. So thank you for sending me to 5 different countries and doing all the good stuff you did for me, promoting me. So if it doesn't work out, it didn't hurt me. It just hurts you. It didn't. It helped me immensely." And so Zachariah Sitchin was a business partner of mine for many years, and he told me many things that I wouldn't want to talk about in public because it would affect his family.
Okay. Well, that's understandable.
Yeah. I could tell you things he said about his work that would be startling. Are you aware of all of his work? Are you aware of his books?
Uh, kind of, but you can tell me more about them if you'd like to.
Well, because his books are everywhere. You can order them on Amazon or whatever. You can get all of Zechariah's works, and he has been the background. His books have been the foundation on which a lot of television shows have been made, TV documentaries, History Channel, Discovery Channel, different big channels have did these UFO stuff. These big television companies are doing. It's all based on his books, and so his books have been very, very popular in the international world of education about extraterrestrials and ETs and all that kind of stuff. His books are very big, and I was his business partner for a long time. I've been a business partner to many people you don't know. Maybe you know about David Icke. Have you ever heard of David Icke?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, David Icke, I'm the one that brought David Icke to America and made him famous. That's something I did back in 1992 is I brought David Icke to America and I promoted him. I financed him. I got him to speak on lectures and television shows and radio and his books. And ultimately, he became very famous.
Yeah.
And I was very happy I did that. I'm still very happy because David's always been a good friend. And I really think, he's still a very good friend.
So, what is your opinion on David Icke's work?
I think he was very, very right and very intelligent when I first heard about him. I heard about him from his girlfriend who came to see me in San Diego from England. She wanted me to help promote him. So I said, "So who is this guy?" She said, "Well, he's my boyfriend. His name's David Icke, and I'd like for you to try and help him." So I said, "So what does he do? Why are you talking to me?" She said, "Well, he really likes your work, and he's doing the same thing you're doing here. He's doing in England, but he's not. He's just starting out. He doesn't have any, he doesn't have any real traction yet. But I would like for you to help him, bring him to America, get him started." So I listened to some of his stuff. I liked it, and so I did. I brought him to America and got him started. So today he's very famous, and it's because I promoted him and spent a lot of money on him to promote him.
And you two are still good friends then, right?
Oh yeah, we're still good friends. Yeah, I still do a lot of. I met him in Europe. I went to Zurich, Switzerland, and stayed there for 2.5 months. And David came over and spent a week with me. And every morning we'd go to breakfast, and every morning in Zurich, Switzerland, and sit and talk for hours on end. And we there's actually a video on the YouTube of David Icke and I talking and discussing our work. It's on the YouTube. That was done in Zurich, Switzerland. And so I've been friends with David for many years, since 1992. A long time ago, I was in San Diego. I was running a company called Truth Seeker Company, and I was a truth seeker company. And I was financing astronauts, scientists, philosophers, teachers, all kinds of people who were coming out with great shows, television shows, books, all kinds of stuff. But where the money came from was from me. I was financing them, giving them the money to do their television shows, giving them the money to write their books. So I've been the guy behind a lot of people that most people will never know.
Right. Yeah. So, can you talk about Nikola Tesla?
Yeah, Nikolai Tesla, I call him Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla was the most brilliant man, I think one of the most brilliant humans that have ever been on this earth. And most people have no idea in the world what he did for the world of mankind. He gave to the world what we call alternating current. The kind of electricity you have in your home, that comes from Nikolai Tesla's mind. He figured out how to send electricity through wires and send electricity around the world to light up air conditioners, lights, anything that needs electricity in the world today is Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla gave us modern day electricity, period. Without him, we wouldn't have the electrical we have today. The earth will still be dark and we'll still be bumping around the dark like cavemen. But he gave us electricity, he gave us television, he gave us radio, he gave us radio especially. And uh, what am I trying to say? Automatic stuff on what's the word I'm looking for when you can control something from one place to another?
Remote. By remote.
Remote control of planes and ships and rockets and all kinds of stuff. Nikola Tesla was an electronic genius. Nobody has ever come close to him. Even uh, uh, Edison, Thomas Edison with his light bulb,
Yeah.
Thomas Edison never came close, could not even begin to come close to Nikola Tesla. Tesla was brilliant, incredibly smart. And even Thomas Edison, supposedly so smart electrician with Thomas Edison and Edison lights. No, Edison didn't have one half of what Nikola Tesla did. Nikola Tesla helped Edison do what he did. So when we see the things that Edison done and Thomas Edison, we hear about how famous he was. The only reason he's famous is because Nikola Tesla helped him and help give him knowledge and help give him understanding how to do something. And so today we talk about Thomas Edison. No, no. Nikola Tesla was the man who knew it all.
Yeah, and it's really amazing too how they've tried to cut him out of the historical picture. And I believe the reason why they were trying to do this is because this man created free energy and they didn't want the free energy to get out. So they
That's right.
Thomas Edison and tried to get rid of Tesla on the historical scene.
That's right. Because Thomas Edison was on the take from the bankers. His big buddy was
J.P. Morgan.
J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan was the financier for Tesla. I mean, for Edison. And so Nikolai Tesla comes and said, "We don't need you to finance. Just let me do it. I'll light up the whole world." And so he did. He lit up the whole world and died a pauper. Nikola Tesla died broke with nothing. A brilliant man who lit up the world and gave us all kinds of television, radio, remote controls, electricity, lit up our cities, lit up high rises. He lit up the cities of the world and died and died broke.
Yep, that's what happens sometimes when powerful
If you're
people.
really good and you're really smart and you're really very powerful mind, believe me, the powers that be in this world will rip you off and leave you for dead.
They'll try to anyway. Yeah. So do you? What do you think of the free energy he made? What do you think of that?
I think that's what that's what we actually need on the earth today is what he wanted to do. But today we have the pollution all over the world by burning coal and oil to try and make electricity. We just keep burning all these pollution producing products to make electricity. We got to keep burning oil and coal to run the generators to create electricity. Nikola Tesla said you don't need to build any generators to run electricity. You get it from the earth. The earth creates electricity already that you can't even begin to imagine how much. And so Nikola Tesla told us there's a way you can tap into the earth and draw out of the earth electricity that is so powerful you cannot even harness it. You can't even find wires big enough to carry the electricity that's in the earth. But if you want to, I'll show you how you can set up around the world, interpose these little devices that go into the earth and pull out electricity, and you can light up your whole country forever for free. You
Yeah.
can light up your country forever. We can have plugs, electrical plugs all over your country, and people can plug in anything they want and get it for free forever. How would you like to have all the
Yeah.
electricity you need forever for free? And the bankers and the big bankers said, no, no, no. We want to control people. We
Yeah.
don't want to give them free energy so they can just do anything they want forever for free. No, thank you. We want that technology. We want to know what you're talking about, but we want it for ourselves, not for the people. We'll use it to create electricity and sell it to the people. We're not giving nothing to them. I ain't going to give them nothing. Make them pay for it.
Yeah,
And so that's the world we live in. The
that's the
whole world we live in is a communist, Marxist, Leninist. Don't give anything to anybody. Make them pay for it. Make
I
them fall on their knees.
they stole his invention. They didn't let anybody learn how to use it after they stole it. So that's pretty amazing. So, what was the Philadelphia experiment?
Yeah, that's a very, very interesting history there. Very interesting. Something that happened in Philadelphia many years ago, toward the end of the Second World War in Philadelphia. The U.S. Navy had an experiment. It was called the Philadelphia experiment. The U.S. Navy experimented with making a ship disappear because the ships in the Atlantic were all being sunk by the Nazis, with their submarines, because the submarines, the German submarines saw an American or a European ship, a cargo ship, that was during the war, so they would sink the ship and kill everybody on the ship, sink the ship. And so the U.S. and the British Navy, they got together and thought, how could we put our ships out there so that the Germans can't see them? How can we cover them up so you won't see them? So therefore, you can't seek them if you don't even know they're there, if you don't see them. And so they gave that job to the U.S. Navy to see if they could hide a ship. How do you hide a ship on the sea? Well, they hired a bunch of really top of the line scientists. Nikola Tesla was one of them. And they said, how could we hide our ships on the sea? And Nikola Tesla says, well, why don't you make them disappear? Well, how do you make a ship disappear? Well, you take the electrons out of the atoms. You electrically pull out the electrons and pull out the neutrons out of the atom that create the ship, and the ship will disappear. It's still there, but you won't see it. They said, what are you talking about? They said, simple. Nikola Tesla and Albert Einstein and some of the other great physicists and scientists were working on this, and they come up with the idea of how to make a ship disappear so you can't see it. This way you can't sink it or harm it if you don't even know it's there.
Right?
And so that's what it was called, the Philadelphia experiment.
Did they succeed in this experiment?
Say it again.
Did they succeed in this experiment?
Oh, yeah, they sure did. And today they're still using that technology, but they're not telling us, but they're still using that technology and how to make ships and planes and big buildings and all kinds of other things disappear. There's a very deep technology going on that the U.S. knows about, and the United States government knows about, and probably now Russia and China know about it. How to make ships disappear. And if you can make a ship disappear, why can't you make a building disappear? Maybe you can make people disappear,
Yeah. So
And so we know that we have been doing that, making people disappear. We
yeah,
can do that.
pretty amazing stuff. Scary too, though. If they want to get rid of some person who's speaking his mind like you, they could just zap you and make you disappear.
That's right.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
In the movie Star Trek, was it Star Trek,
Yeah,
where they can go in and make them disappear? Beam me up, Scotty.
yeah, yeah,
Well, then they make that person disappear, and then they beam him someplace else. We can
yeah,
do that now. The astronauts have said publicly that that's what they can do now. They have the ability to beam people from. They can put you in a container and they beam you electronically, and you disappear. and then they can go to the other side of the country and re beam you over there, and you'll disappear here, but you'll be over there, and they bring you over there. So this way, you went across the country in 3 seconds,
Yeah.
and then now you're over there on the other side of the country, and now they bring you back into physical, and they bring you back physically, and now you're in New York instead of L.A.
So
So
that's
yeah,
the technology that they uncovered through this experiment then.
that's right. And there it goes back to Nikola Tesla.
Like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
incredible.
So,
Anyway, there's so many subjects we could cover, so many things we could cover. Let's talk some more another time.
okay. Sounds good.
All right. So
Yep.
let's do another time. We'll do it again another time. We'll pick up on part two and
Sounds
have
good.
some more
Yeah.
questions.
I have plenty of questions. So when do you want to do that then?
Well, I don't know. Maybe in a week or so. I'm very, very busy right now.
Oh,
Let's make it another week or so. Call me or communicate with me on Skype message or email in about 10 days from now.
so,
And tell me who you are and what you're doing and and how I met you, etc. So I'll know who you are. And then I'll call you back and we'll talk and we'll set it up again.
oh, and I have one last question for you really quickly. So how can people find you?
Go on my website. And my website, I only have one website. I got two websites, but one is my main website is called Jordan Maxwell Show.com. More Jordan Maxwell Show.com. The Jordan is spelled like the Jordan River in the Middle East. Jordan, not O-N. Jordan. Jordan Maxwell, Maxwell, show, Show. And it's very important you remember show, Jordan Maxwell Show, because there are other websites on the web with my name on it, but they don't belong to me. Other people are using my name to make money off of their website. And so they're using my name, but I don't own those websites. They're in somebody else's hands. The only one I own is jordanmaxwellshow.com.
Yep.
And when you go on jordanmaxwellshow.com, it's very, very plain. There's nothing exaggerated. It's just very, very simple. It's a very simple website, but there's a lot on there. And you will see on my website, jordanmaxwellshow.com, you will see a second website. It's called the research website. And you need to go on my Jordan Maxwell Show and join my research website. That's totally separate. It's a different website completely. And this is where I am uploading all of the documents, pictures, articles, research materials, uh, all the books and all the videos, all kinds of information. My research stuff that I've been doing over the years is all on that research society. So go on Jordan Maxwell Show and join my research society.
Yeah, I actually just joined it and I have to say it's really good. I like all the information. So,
Lots and lots of stuff, and I got a lot more coming. I got tons of stuff coming because that's fairly new. I mean, that's only been around for a little bit, but I've got a lot of stuff on there. Well, I got a lot of stuff coming because I've been doing this kind of work for 60 years. So I got a lot of really important, interesting stuff that's going on in the world that nobody knows anything about. I'm going to put it on my research society. I'm going to
yeah.
put it on my research website.
Could you tell everyone about the your next event you're going to do also?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a lecture in Laughlin, Nevada. Laughlin, Nevada is 50 miles south of Las Vegas in Nevada. About 50 to 60 miles south of Las Vegas is a place called Laughlin, Nevada. And it's right on the Colorado River. It's a big gambling town like Las Vegas, but it's much, much smaller and much, much nicer. And it's called Laughlin, Nevada, and they got some big hotels there, and we're going to do a major big conference there about UFOs and aliens and all kinds of secret stuff that's going on, and I'm going to be one of the speakers there. So if you go on the web, it's called 2020 UFO Mega Event. Mega. U 2020 UFO Mega Event. Because it's going to be a mega big convention in Laughlin, Nevada, 60 miles south of Las Vegas in February of next year, February 15th to the 22nd. There's going to be a lot of speakers there from all over the world. It's going to blow your mind, the stuff that these people are going to be talking about. And I'm going to be explaining for the first time to the audience a slide presentation I'm going to be doing on communism and world conspiracy, how the world really works behind the scenes, and how the problems we've got, where they come from, and who's doing it to us. So I'm going to be there, and that's in February of next year in Laughlin, Nevada.
Well, that sounds really great. So thank you for taking the time to have this interview and be on the Free American Press and give people.
I appreciate being on with you, and if you're there at the conference, come see me.
Oh, I definitely will. I look forward to the next interview we do. Okay.
Take care.
Jordan, God
Okay,
bless.
let's do it.
Okay, sounds good.
Bye-bye.
Bye.